everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. If my roller configuration looks a little off in this area, I do have a roller back there. It's just, things just got a little off this morning while I was putting those in. But thank you so much for being here. This is going to be a full face of Maybelline, but the twist here, I guess, would be that it's not really a lot of brand new Maybelline. In fact, I feel like I'm so familiar with Maybelline and their newest stuff that I thought, let's put the focus on some of the things that have been in the line a little bit longer. And when I was doing a recent Walgreens Instacart delivery, I was realizing that a lot of stores around me were low on Easter candy, but Walgreens was like way stocked up. And I got a couple Maybelline things like the Fit Me Dewy and Smooth to try again, because it had been years since I'd tried the original version of this stuff. I got a mascara to try, but a lot of the stuff has been in my collection. So yeah, you'll see what I mean as we go along. You know, it's kind of like seeing if some of these more classic products in the line can really hang with some of the things that are newer, maybe a little bit more innovative. We'll see how it all comes together. As I was kind of experimenting, I used some of this Fit Me stuff, the foundation, concealer, and powder just the other day, and I was really happy with the way that all came together. So that's what you're going to see first. I have this Dewy and Smooth. This is for normal to dry. I know I like the matte and poreless, but I was just kind of pleasantly surprised by the look of the Dewy and Smooth on my skin the other day. I have it in natural beige, so real classic foundation here where you just twist off the top. And I mean, if we're talking Maybelline, I know I love Superstay. I know I really enjoy that Dream Urban Cover stuff. And like concealer wise, I know I like Instant Age Rewind, but we're gonna be trying some of those other things. So as you can see, I'm fairly liberally dabbing this around. I don't like how the cap has to turn, like now the cap's backwards. You have to put it on just so it will end. No, then it's not twisting. There. I wanted it to end on the front like that. I'm gonna actually blend this in with a beauty blender, even though this is more of like a medium, you could even say light to medium foundation. I still like the appearance when I do it with the beauty blender. Just dabbing it in. It is actually Easter morning as I sit here and shoot this, because I do have some special plans for videos that I'm going to be shooting like every day next week. It's for a special little project, so I needed to get this one done on a Sunday. Just fine by me. I'd be up here doing my makeup anyway, you know. I'm actually an assistant to the Easter Bunny, so I already handled some of those tasks last night. So Dewy and Smooth version of Fit Me foundation is all blended in. As I look at my skin, you know, I'm still seeing some freckles, a little melasma, a little under eye darkness, you know, but it's doing what kind of a light to medium coverage foundation does. And I do think it's kind of a pretty look on the skin, very natural looking skin finish, okay? And again, I like the matte and poreless. I can get by with wearing either, but this does give a little more moisture to the skin. Now we're gonna jump in and use that concealer, which, I mean, some people have raved on this concealer. I have it in Fair, just the Maybelline Fit Me. I think there's just one formula of the concealers in this line. But I've never really thought it was as good as Instant Age Rewind. They kind of have a similar consistency on the skin. I've just always thought the Instant Age Rewind covered a little better. But as you're gonna see here, I'm gonna blend this in, and this shade is really brightening for me, okay? And this is what's gonna kind of play into the overall satisfaction with the complexion, because that brightens me up so much. And then we're gonna do a little bit of light baking with the Fit Me loose powder, which is just a tremendous loose powder from the drugstore. Like, it's probably pretty much top of the list as far as drugstore loose powders for me. Again, blending this all in with the Beauty Blender, which I might not have always done in years past, but I do feel like it's working it in so effectively, really pretty. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I'm just gonna build a bit right in here. The thing to really keep in mind with drugstore brands is that these products are gonna cost less than the newer stuff, you know? So let's say you lost all your makeup, or you traveled somewhere and they lost your bag and you've got to come up with a quick makeup bag. Like, it could definitely cost you less to stick to some of these older products in the line as opposed to some of the more newly launched things. That is something you will pretty much always find regardless of the brand. Now, this is what I did yesterday. I really liked how it turned out, and it wore amazingly well all day. I took my dry Real Techniques Mini, and I took it into my Maybelline Fit Me powder in, I believe this is in Fair for me. Yeah, this powder, seriously, bomb. And I just kind of swept this on this area. And I also like to brighten up in here, and this is gonna get dusted away, okay? The excess. brighten here. But I'm not just saying like the staying power was good because I could still see makeup. It looked fresh, it looked nice. And it might be the pairing of this formula with the powder, or the fact that I blended it all in with the Beauty Blender so it didn't have the opportunity to get as heavy. I don't know. Now I realized I don't have a single Maybelline bronzer, so I'm just going to use my Milani Silky Matte. This is in the shade Sun Drenched. So just a matte bronzer because I believe that's what Maybelline's is. And this is just the one area where I need to use something different. So as you can see, the baking stuff is still sitting there. I wouldn't even say I microwaved today. I think I full-on baked. Maybe I toaster ovened, air fried. When do you guys have your Easter dinner? Do you make like a big thing about having a brunch or a lunch? We're actually doing ours at dinner time. I mean, we're not having like a huge gathering, just mom and dad are coming over. But we decided to do it at dinner this year just because like there's a couple casseroles that I want to make. I'm doing like a broccoli casserole and a sweet potato casserole. And I kind of need the nap time period to probably have the solitude to get those assembled. And Bub's making like some steaks and some chicken, and we're gonna have some spinach salads as well. We're kind of trying to go for a high iron meal because my dad found he was kind of deficient in iron, and iron deficiency anemia can make you feel very like sluggish and just not yourself at all. And he had like some in-depth blood tests done to figure that that was the thing. So now he's on something for it, and on top of that we want to like, I don't know, boost up the iron. So this is in honor of Dad. But I tell you what, my dad is just one of the most energetic people. Like when he's over here helping with the kids, let's say, and I'm down either teaching Belle or I'm editing or something, and they've got the kids upstairs playing, like there is so much laughter, there is so much energy and so much like just fun going on that I can hear from the downstairs. And I've just got to give him so much credit for the pretty long span of time that he's felt like something wasn't quite right. He's been to a cardiologist, you know, like so much has gone down. My hope is that now that they've pinpointed this, he can start feeling a lot better, and he's already seen some effects from whatever they've got him taking. For brows, I'm going to use the Tattoo Studio. This is in ash brown. I'm sure Maybelline does have like their own core of like skinny pencils and whatnot, but I love this. And my pomade, kind of like Mom said with hers, you know, she wore this. Obviously a different shade for her, she's blonde, but she used this for quite a while and really liked it. The staying power is tremendous. It also kind of feels like a two-in-one because it holds your brows in place. And even when it's new, like it's not gonna be as goopy creamy as ABH Dip Brow, even not as creamy as the e.l.f. Lock-On Brow and Liner Cream. So in that way, it's actually a little easier to control if you're not used to using a pomade. And it comes with this very brush that I'm using, like kind of a short angled brush and spoolie. So I've just gotten myself filled in there, very satisfied with it. Probably went even further than I needed to a little bit. Nice thing about a spoolie is like if you do feel like you've hit an area a little too hard, you can keep sort of brushing through with the spoolie and it just lightens and softens a little. Next, I am going to dust away this powder. Any excess. Woohoo! See ya! So you want to talk about brightened up and set for days, like this is locked in now. For blush, I'm going to use this Maybelline Fit Me blush, and this is in the shade Nude. I have a few of these in my collection still, and I really liked them. This one has a little bit of a sheen to it. I have another shade called Wine, and I can't remember what the other one is, a deeper one too. But this one called Nude, I remember specifically loving. Kind of reminds me of maybe some different CoverGirl Cheekers blushes I've used in the past. See how we're getting this little hint of pink mixed with neutral, mixed with a little bit of sheen. Oh, it's so delicate. See, I love that. I love that. This is a great blush. I hope they're still making the Fit Me blushes. Are they? How pretty and fresh is that blush? Tell me, like, I love that. That's so nice. Now for the highlight. I think this has been around maybe a couple years now, the Master Chrome in Rose Gold. I think this is one of the shiniest highlights in the drugstore. Like, it's just very, very strong. I think they have even a more golden-y option, but I mean, just see. It can look very metallic, but I'm gonna give it quite a buff here with my Real Techniques setting brush. It's really pretty. I don't know that I like this better than my Milani Spotlight highlighter in Afterglow. This one I just feel like I have to be so careful with and use so little by little. Don't want to go too far, don't want to get too crazy with it. But it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to hit the Cupid's bow and then I kind of like dust over it to lessen it. Now I do need a drugstore friend to come in and assist on the setting mist. I'm going to use my Physicians Formula, the Essence of Healthy that I've been testing. Super fine mist. Takes me a few extra mists to get the effect, but I know Maybelline does have, I think it's called Master Fix or something like that. So now we're ready to move on to the eyes. Milani eyeshadow primer, always going to be there for us for steps like this. Sorry, I had a few droplets. I did get slightly aggressive with all those mists. And we're going to use a palette from Maybelline that I have not picked up in a while, but you know what? Whenever I'm in my like Walmart app, if I'm doing a delivery order or a pickup order or something, and I go to the cosmetics section, I will tell you what is always right up there at the top of the makeup list, you know, like they show you by default just a bunch of products. I don't know if it's because they're best sellers. I really wish they had a filter for new products on there. It can be hard to navigate Walmart's app, I gotta say. But blushed nudes is always right up there. And I haven't used this in a really long time. You know, this was like a spin-off of the nudes palette. So this is what we're working with. I'll show you up close. I mean, cool tones, a little bit of like blushed stuff happening, but the most blush thing about this is probably like the packaging itself. But here's the thing, I know I love the Nudes of New York palette. That is a phenomenal palette. That may be the best drugstore neutral palette going right now. I know that's great. I know their City Mini palettes are wonderful and there's some great all matte ones, but we're gonna go back and we're gonna kind of draw some comparisons now to this old girl right here. I think what I'm first gonna do to maximize the intensity is I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to go into this shade right down here that kind of reminds me of MAC's Beauty Marked because it's dark but it has a little bit of like a shimmer. And yes, I did need to tap off some excess here. And I am patting this just right here, outer part of my lid. I'm going to flip my brush, let some come up here, hoping I'm not getting a bunch of fallout. Who was watching, I know this won't like air right on the next day, but who was watching the UCLA Gonzaga game? Oh my gosh, what a game. Went into overtime, it was just, but the whole game really was super exciting, I thought. And I was pretty sure like, oh, this is gonna go into another overtime. And then Gonzaga at the buzzer, man, like hero moment for that guy. So do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just taking my Bare E25 and this shade, like the formula has really improved from Maybelline because I can work with this, I can make this go, but their newer stuff blends a lot more easily. I'm gonna take the next shade next door. It's kind of like a mix of, I don't know, brown and gray, a really super murky color. And I'm gonna take that into my crease. And as you can see, kind of smoothing out now the darkness. Although this is still kind of a deep shade. But sometimes, like when you look at what are the best sellers, for example, you kind of get reminded that not everyone lives in the YouTube or the TikTok space as far as being influenced on what products to buy. So this could be out for years and it could still be a thing that really does sell at Walmart. Just because people who are there in person browsing the aisles, I guess it's something they're gravitating towards. Sometimes we just get so much in our own little YouTube bubble here thinking, well, if a YouTuber hasn't talked about it recently, I'm shocked anybody likes it. But there's a whole world outside of YouTube, I guess. Okay, going back into that shade, but targeting it more. So I switched over to my E27, which is the baby E25. Just really wanting that to get smooth. Wanting to make sure I'm addressing the deepest part of my crease. Now, what do you say we bring in some of this blushed vibe? There's this shade right here that I probably would have normally like taken straight to the crease. I'm gonna see if I can take a little bit of that around the border. There's a little pink in it. Barely there. Kind of like the softest mauve ever. And we'll really let that come up. I'm not even sure if it's going to translate on camera. It's that soft. Anybody to this day love and use this palette with frequency? Let me know. Okay, blending that a bit, going for a little brighter highlight shade with that white or cream. There we go. And then I want to take this color on the lid, the most, I guess, like rosy, pinky looking shade. It's not like super light, it's like a real medium depth level. And I'm just getting that all over the lid, the inner part of the lid. Oh, did you notice my hot pink nails? Lemony macaroon. I got this shade individually. I bought a couple of new shades that came outside my little original kit. And I just had a crazy situation like last week or late the week before. I can't remember when I did it, but I had a part that was kind of like I peeled it off a little bit. I took my top coat, and this is gel nail polish that you cure in a little light, and I had gotten off to the side on one of my nails with some of the clear, and then I started peeling that away, and that started to peel my whole nail off. So note to self, don't get outside the lines. If you do, rub that away, find something to get that off with before you go in and cure your nails, because then I had gotten some of the polish off, then I proceeded to break that nail, and I felt like, okay, it's game over. I want to start fresh with a new manicure. And a few days passed before I could do that, and I broke the other index finger. I guess these are my worker fingers. And then I had to cut others back a little bit to follow suit with how short my broken nails were. Great story, Em. Great story. But it's frustrating when you legitimately have stopped biting your nails and then you just start breaking them. So friends, here's what we're working with there. We've got this very cool kind of grayish eye with a little bit of rosiness. I may take a little around the bottom, just a little smudge, maybe with this shade here. But can I see a difference between this and like Nudes of New York or the City Mini palettes? I really can. I feel like these shades just aren't quite as intense. The deeper shades are a little harder to blend. The shimmery shade, like, it wasn't everything I wanted it to be there on the lid. And the Nudes of New York is special because it kind of incorporates like multiple tones of neutral. Like you can go a little cooler. There's almost like a lilac-y shade in there, but then there's also burgundy, golds, just like any way you want to take it. It's a nice little palette. For my lashes, I would say I think this is kind of a newer mascara actually. I wasn't going back to Great Lash for this video. Like Great Lash is there. I do not love Great Lash. But I do have this Lash Sensational Curvitude, and I accidentally got it in waterproof. But I was using it the other day, and I gotta say, did it smudge? No, didn't smudge one dang bit on my eyes or my under eyes. Also, when it came time to take it off, and yeah, I am skipping eyeliner. When it was time to take it off, I used what I think is the best eye makeup remover. It's the Lancome one, like the blue one that you shake up, and just hold that on your eye for a few seconds on a cotton pad and then gently wipe away, and it came off with ease. So I'm thinking I might be getting into this life of using a waterproof that's not going to smudge on me. But this is kind of a thick little brush with a curve and a real distinct row of spikes on the inner scoop of that curve. And I found it to be defining, somewhat buildable. I think the waterproof nature of it, waterproof mascaras usually, I think they dry down a bit faster, and that can be better for locking in your curl. So there were multiple benefits to this one, I thought. I know Great Lash does agree with some people's lashes, and if it does for you, good for you. I'm just not one of those people. You know, a Maybelline mascara that I loved back in the day, I want to say like high school or college, there was one called Illegal Lengths. And yes, I know they've made it again. I think they do still have something that's like in a silvery grayish tube called Illegal Lengths. But it's not the same as it was before. That mascara, that worked well for me. Another mascara I loved back in the day was the L'Oreal Double Extend, and it had the one end that was white and the other end looked gold. That was definitely like the college go-to. I didn't know anything about false lashes. Nobody did that. Like, I wasn't even gonna try that. I was just walking around with my way too skinny eyebrows that I put way too much effort into tweezing, and my L'Oreal Double Extend mascara. This side here, this right eye, I've pretty much, like, I've gotten the second coat on it. And look how nice that is. Like, that's pretty full and long for me. And I can do a little bit down here too. It's waterproof. We can get away with some of these things. Do you guys enjoy this kind of like full face of a brand but not necessarily sticking to their newest stuff? What do you think about this? Like, you can honestly tell me if you think you'd just be more interested in knowing just about what's new. I get that. New product videos are, frankly, they're a dime a dozen on YouTube. Like, there's so much where everybody just flocks to the new thing. But I think trying the old with the perspective of, I know what's new and what they're doing well these days, but can this stuff hang? Because it might be cheaper. Personally, it interests me. Okay, this side kind of started to dry down. Like, it really does dry down so much quicker when you get waterproof. Kind of started to say game over on me a little bit sooner, but I do like the look. Again, that's the Lash Sensational Curvitude. I love the color of the tube, by the way. I need a little lightness in here. I'm going to do something kind of crazy here. I'm going to put on a lip liner, and then I'm going to top it with my Maybelline Baby Lips in the Cherry shade, because this is still a good tinted lip balm, okay? The Cherry Me, beautiful scent. Beautiful, like cherry candy kind of scent. But I'm going to use my Color Sensational Shaping Lip Liner in the Purely Nude shade and just give my lips that defined fill-in. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of color we end up with. This lip liner is so smooth. It's a great dupe for Pillow Talk if you watch my dupes video from Charlotte Tilbury. What else do we like from Maybelline? Of course, you know I like the Superstay Matte Ink, either the crayon or the liquid lipstick. They're shiny, Color Sensational, like the tubes that are real shiny. I also found a dupe within that line for the Tarte lipstick in Salt Life. Those are a nice formula though, really nice. So we're all filled in there. That color in itself is pretty. And then I'm going to take this balm, which would come off, you know, like a soft kind of pinky, you could call it soft red, but I'm going to put this over it. You see what that did to the top lip? I don't hate that. Plus it feels like absolute butter. Now I think in life there are a few things more satisfying than watching someone take out their hot rollers. So we can do that together. My hair was super duper clean, like just showered last night, washed it last night. So sometimes it doesn't always react as well to the curling if it's like just real clean. But this should be okay. I'm gonna shake it out. You know we're going back as my favorite finishing touch. Adding a little more blush. Just because the eyes are so light. The lip is real soft. I just need that added something on the cheek. Actually, I will make an excuse to add more blush even in the complete opposite scenario. It's a real strong eye. Oh, there's a lot of lip. I need more blush. As my mom would say, I'm full of beans. Anybody else's mom ever said that? Oh, you're full of beans. So here's my finished look. Overall, I was really pleased with the way the complexion products came together. The Fit Me Dewy Foundation, the concealer, and the Fit Me powder as well, I thought did a great job. And I loved yesterday wearing those and seeing how well they actually wore all day. Also, my blush and highlight were absolutely phenomenal, and those aren't super new things to their line. Getting into the eyeshadow and using something that's been out for a long time from Maybelline, the Blush Nudes palette, they are doing way better things now with their newer releases. So if you have the opportunity to steer yourself more toward the Nudes of New York or one of their City Mini palettes, I would definitely go for that. I think a lot of people have a Maybelline mascara that they identify with and love. We all have different lashes, so it could be across the board. I know a lot of people like that Rocket Volume mascara or Great Lash or Colossal. This one, you know, I'm not loving it as well as my IT Cosmetics Superhero, but I still think it's good. I love the Color Sensational lip liners. This Purely Nude is a fantastic basic, and you can't go wrong with a little Baby Lips lip balm. It will give you just a slight reddish tint to your lips. But thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.